think I know anybody that doesn't want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. But on the other hand, I don't know that many people that are so happy. So what's going on? What are we doing wrong? What does it take to really be happy? So you have to understand the difference between happiness and fun. A lot of people are having fun. They're at a party, they're dancing, right? They're playing some kind of sport. They're having fun. But what is the secret to true and lasting happiness? So the secret to happiness is meaningfulness. When a person feels that their life is meaningful, they feel a deep sense of happiness. But the question is, what does it mean to feel meaningful? So imagine you were a word. You're a word, but you're not connected to anything. You're not part of a sentence. You're not part of a book. You're just a word. Do you have any meaning? A word on its own really has no meaning. If I were a word, I'd look for a sentence that I could contribute to, that I could be a part of. And go, so fine, I find this group of other words, and we all get along very nicely. I found a the, right? I happen to be a ball, right? I found boy, throw, and we all got together, and we put together a community. The ball was thrown by the boy. I feel pretty meaningful, but not as much as I'd like to, because if I'm just a sentence but not part of a paragraph, where is all this really going? Okay, so I can find a couple more words and we put together a city called a paragraph. And now we're part of a bigger story, but the truth is this story's not going anywhere because I need to be part of a chapter, part of a book, part of a series. The more you find yourself within a greater context where you can give, where you can contribute, the more happiness you get. Mark Twain, the famous author, once said, "The secret to feeling happy is to make somebody else happy." You know, but we're in a world that I want to be happy, I want to be happy. But how do you be happy? The greatest ability to be happy is when I'm doing something meaningful, when I feel I'm part of a greater context, when I feel that I'm giving and I'm contributing. That's the secret of happiness. But that takes work. People think happiness just happens. It's called happiness, so it should just happen. But it doesn't just happen. You have to work at happiness. You have to choose to be happy. And you know what? I think a lot of people make the mistake to think that the opposite of happiness is sadness. So they run away from sadness. But the truth is, if you don't know what it means to be sad, you could never experience happiness. Just like you can't have white without black. You can't have up without down. You can't have happiness without knowing what sadness is. But most people are depressed not because they're not happy. It's because they don't know how to be sad at the right times. I'll give you an example. My neighbor recently asked me to take care of her goldfish, you know? And so then I would feed the goldfish. So in her tank, she's got these goldfish, and she's got this one fish, and his job is to eat everything that comes out of the other fish, you know? And these fish, you could think, are happy. I mean, they don't look depressed. They float around, right? They have food. The one that eats what they excrete, he's the happiest, right? You think that's happy? Every day I would go in there, and I would say, oh, I'm so happy that I'm not a fish. Right? Because they're not happy, they're just content. They're just existing. They're just alive, but they don't know how to thrive. The way you thrive is when you find real meaning and real purpose in your life. And when you can find the passion that allows you to give to this world, give to people, then the more you give, the more you actually get. Not because somebody's going to give back to you, but because the greatest gift you could give yourself is to give to other people and find that power and that potency within you that you're part of a greater story and you make a difference.